Africa is rising not in whispers, but in numbers. One man, 36 years old, 10 projects, billions in value, 1 billion Africans watching. This is the story of how Ibrahim Traore, the youngest president in the world, is transforming Burkina Faso through projects that shake not just his nation, but the world. From 100,000 new solar panels in the Sahel desert, to thousands of new homes rising in Ouagadougou, to a continental internet exchange connecting 1.4 billion people. These are not promises, these are numbers, and each number is a declaration. Africa will rise with its own hands. The solar revolution. Burkina Faso receives more than 3,000 hours of sunlight per year. For decades it went to waste. But under Traoré it became electricity. Fields of 100,000 solar panels now supply power to villages. More than 2 million people are gaining access to electricity. Rural schools are lit for the first time in history. A farmer says proudly, "My children can study at night. The sun no longer burns us, it powers us." Every kilowatt is not just energy. It is independence from imported fuel, agriculture and food sovereignty. Burkina Faso imports nearly 40% of its food. Traoré called this unacceptable. 500 new irrigation pumps now water dry land. Tens of thousands of farmers trained in modern methods. Grain production rising by 20% in pilot regions. In Bobo Dioulasso, a woman farmer says, "We no longer pray for rain. We have water, we have tools, and we feed ourselves." For the first time, Burkina Faso is moving from dependency to sovereignty one harvest at a time. Housing and urban projects. In Ouagadougou, cranes mark a new skyline. 20,000 affordable homes under construction. 50 new schools and 30 health centers linked to housing zones. Families moving from tin shacks to dignified homes. A market woman says, standing in front of her 2-room home, "For the first time, my children sleep under a solid roof." Every brick is a promise kept that dignity begins at home. Factories and industry. For too long, Africa exported raw goods. Traoré wants value to stay in Africa. Textile factories turning local cotton into clothing. Gold refineries processing the nation's treasure inside the country. Agro-processing plants converting mangoes and shea nuts into exports. A factory worker says with pride, "Before I dreamed of leaving for Europe, now I build for my country." Industry is no longer a dream, it is happening. Landlocked Burkina Faso has always struggled to trade. Traoré's answer, connect. Thousands of kilometers of new roads being paved. Railway corridors under discussion to reach Liberia's Atlantic ports. Transport times cut by 50% in some regions. A truck driver laughs. "What once took me 2 days, now takes me 1. Business is alive again. Infrastructure is not glamour. It is survival, the veins of a rising nation. Data is the oil of the 21st century. For years, Africa's data flowed through foreign servers. No more. 1.4 billion Africans now connected through the continental internet exchange. 50 billion per year saved from leaving Africa. Dozens of African data centers rising from Nairobi to Ouagadougou. A student says with pride, "Google no longer decides what we see. We are building our own digital Africa." This is not just internet. This is independence. The human impact. Numbers tell a story, but voices tell the truth. A miner walks out of the pits. "If the West taxes us, we cut exports. Our gold belongs to us." A mother in a housing project whispers, "My children no longer sleep in the rain." Students paint walls. "Our gold is not for sale. Our future is not for rent." Every statistic hides a beating heart. Every project touches lives. The global shock. But for every project there is pushback. In Brussels, a leaked memo called Traoré's policies economic warfare. In Washington, strategists warned, this could realign Africa forever. In Paris, officials whispered about sanctions. Yet across the global south, the numbers inspire. Cairo commentators ask, is this Africa's real awakening? Johannesburg activists project onto skyscrapers. Africa will not be anyone's pawn. Jakarta youth spray paint. Traoré's Africa is our inspiration. The West counts threats. The South counts hope. The Nobel whisper. By 2025, another number begins to circulate, one nomination. The Nobel Peace Prize. Some argue Traoré deserves it for uniting the Sahel. reclaiming sovereignty and giving voice to Africa. Others call him dangerous. But whatever the opinion, one fact is clear. Ibrahim Traore has changed the equation. Burkina Faso, once overlooked, now counted among nations that dare to dream. 100,000 solar panels, 500 irrigation pumps, 20,000 homes, thousands of kilometers of roads, 1.4 billion people connected digitally. These are not slogans, they are numbers, and each number is a strike against dependency. Traoré once declared, "Freedom is not charity. It is construction. It is the bricks we lay, the seeds we plant, the lights we switch on." This is more than a leader's rise. It is Africa's awakening counted not in speeches, but in projects. The question is simple. Will these 10 projects survive the storms of sanctions and pressure? Or will Africa's awakening be buried by old powers? Comment your thoughts below because the numbers no longer lie. Africa is building. The world is watching, and history is counting.